Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. To all our loyal listeners, our followers, to all those that subscribe to the channel, we thank you. Because sometimes we just feel like if we talking into the pulling something out of the ether, a matter of fact. Now many of us would have seen the saga that have been going wrong all through social media with Earla Christopher and Paul Richards. And many of us would have used that basis as to judge the career of that individual. Many of us, because sometimes, yes, it has happened to me, a little hiccups, but I'm not here to defend nobody. I'm not here to defend the police commissioner. I'm not here to defend Roger Alexander. But I am here to make a statement that is based on the spin, the thing that have been taking place throughout the public for so long, and the reason why we would have remained silent on certain things is because that, I mean, sometimes you have to watch the spin and the take of certain things. What we would have seen there in the media is a play on words and tactics that have been used, that have been exercised on a particular individual. Now today we are running the show live. The number on the screen, any one of you that want to call in the show direct could call the number. But before we go on to all of this, we have a special guest that we are going to talk about this thing at length, because it's about high time crime and criminality addressed in a particular way that will benefit not us, that will benefit the wider Trinidad and Tobago. Because when Keith Rowley is speaking, he's speaking to his followers. And to be damned, when the UNC speak, they speak to their followers too. There are nobody outside here that is addressing the thing on a wider spectrum. All are we dying? PNM, UNC, and the between. All of us are dying out here in Trinidad and Tobago. And all because of a crime situation that nobody don't want to take responsibility for. And here we're going on. We would have heard a piece of gossip in which we could prove this time. Because many of the senators and them that are inside the parliament know what is the causes of crime. And we are going to prove that today from a video from David Naked. So many of you that may not know of this story, we are going into the interview that would have talk about it. Going straight into the interview.
I appreciate that. Final question, and this is a really off-topic question, but related. Is there a particular mandate for Beyond the Tape?
Oh, hey, listen.
Is there a particular mandate for the Beyond the Tape show? And I ask the question in context that very often I hear utterances in that show.
Now, for many of you that is not aware of the English language, this is what it is called a sneak premises. This is what it is called a sneak premises. And let me tell you something. This is here coupled with what we call the straw man fallacy. When you make a conclusion, a matter of fact, let me go into this.
that are in stark contradiction to what the police leadership is saying. And it is very surprising to me. So the police leadership says one thing about gangs. The show is saying we're giving the gangs a bly. So I'm confused. Is there a mandate for that show? And does the show take instruction and policy and public dissemination from the police leadership? Because very often I have heard contradictory information from the police leadership and from what I see on that show. And I don't know which one to believe.
The show should be a replica of the thoughts and sentiments of the executive of the organization.
Is that happening?
There may be times when the presenter is a bit adverse to the thoughts of the organization.
The presenter representing the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service on a national broadcast, very popular show, in uniform, and you are telling us he is averse to what the leadership is saying? That is a shocking revelation.
I'm making my comments based on what you would have said.
So no one is monitoring the show from leadership perspective?
Yes, the show is monitored by the corporate communications unit.
Are you satisfied with what is coming out of the show? As the head of the police service?
At this time, no.
You're not satisfied, and it continues.
It has been, no, actually the show is being reviewed.
Okay, thank you.
We have had discussions.
No further questions.
Now you would have heard that piece of saga. Is the show following the mandate of the police service? And the response from Earla Christopher was at times it has tended to go off course. And we, the members of the public, would have taken this and blow this thing so much out of proportion as to say, or as to try to convict the people that the whole thing out of control. Now, as I say, in my community here, I'm from the Library district. And many times, the police just come and if they kick down we door, my door, they kick down my neighborhood. Sometimes without warrant, these things that's go on in these depressed areas, police running in your house just so or you can imagine the type of hatred and dislike the people in this area have for the police. And when members of my community could come out and say, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, we don't like Roger Alexander. But there are provisions for a man like him within the force. Now, without further ado, yes, I would have shared the same sentiment. There is provision, or there should be provision, for a man like Roger Alexander within the force. And there should also be provision, somebody as equally as outside as him, to counteract some of his statements as to neutralize the position. So all of that is to say that yes, if we hear police, we like them at all in these areas. But that type of assassination attempt on live television and members of the executive was there. I hear this kind of bullshit kind of rebuttal from Watchman. Watchman, come off of the blasted network. You understand what I'm saying? In a kind of way to pacify. If somebody can't talk, they can't talk. But what would have happened here is not the fault of just Earla Christopher alone, but the whole entire executive that speak for the police force. Because you can't tell me you have so much of people there and none of them could not stand up and give the right answer for a communication problem? Nah, man. Nah. A communication problem that would have taken place. Yes, sometimes at the end of the day, we would have tried this method. Sometimes you tell somebody something in one air, and you go down 10 person down the line and they say something different. You know what going on? There are plenty people, me and them as friends. But you are telling you mustn't get tied up with social media. The social media thing, none of you must be followers. I mean, not followers, but you must be leaders and not followers. Now we're going to play an interview here, a comment in which we respect. Yes, we are going to reach out to the gentleman and we are going to talk this thing here live. Right, we're going straight into it.
What's up, Trinidad and Tobago? So, the fat man had to go whip out the blue sheet for this one.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Hello,
again.
yeah.
Because it's
Stop
not every day you
following
get to see a
people.
woman's prostate get played with. And I know women don't have prostates. But after seeing what Sir Paul Richard did to Earla Christopher in that commission of inquiry, I am sure that that woman's prostate got tickled. Because clearly, Sir Paul Richards ripped her a new one. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. There's a lot of things that are consistently wrong with the TTPS in Trinidad and Tobago. And many of the officers that do a really good job, they get overlooked by these clowns and political appointees that are put in these spots to do this job. And Earla Christopher is by far one of the biggest failures as Commissioner of Police in the history of commissioners.
That is the part that I don't agree with. That is the part. I believe that people who enter this police force here inherit something that is bad and thing. It's a problem that have been existing within the police force from ever so long.
Of police that this country has ever had. And I told you all that before I couldn't understand how this individual was allowed to be the spokesperson and the face of the TTPS on the Beyond the Tape show. I often wondered, how is this possible? But here it is, if you haven't seen it. Paul Richard tearing her a new one.
Madam Commissioner, may I just suggest, if the body cams are provided to these officers in these exercises and they're not doing it, institute disciplinary action against them. Make an example and people will fall into line. Member Richards, your last question.
Chairman, with the greatest of respect, I think for you to have to tell the Commissioner to do that is very surprising. I would imagine if it is policy.
Now, the suggestion that was made there, if the police officers and them not putting on the body camera, deal with it, introduce corrective measures. And I here stand as a union official to tell you today, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, disciplining a police officer, a member within that underneath and that is covered by a union, it is a difficult task. That is what democracy does do in countries like these here who don't know the full extent or not following the full extent of democracy. Yes, it's a good suggestion. But institute the body camera, then do it, correct them. It's not just that simple. Because your terms of employment is what does cause certain disciplinary action to take place within our organization. So when the company would have gone averse to your terms of agreement, then disciplinary action could be implicated. But at certain measures, you're talking things like progressive discipline. Anybody that is using this statement here to try to tear down the police commissioner, come on, or hitting below the belt. Because down to Gary Griffith and all, the officers that is underneath his tenure, when he was there, they would have done certain things that was averse to his instructions. And what really could have done about it? Come now, man. Come now, man. My thing about this is that give the man a blasted slack. That is all. That is all. And as I said, let me go back straight into this. I just doesn't like my opinion really and truly to prevail in a particular way. But we are going, let me go back straight into this thing here. Just now we go call the guests and we go have this thing going.
And policy should be followed or some corrective measures should be taken.
Just a word to the wise.
I appreciate that.
Third question.
Final question, and this is a really off-topic question but related. Is there a particular mandate for Beyond the Tape? Is there a particular mandate for the Beyond the Tape show? And I ask the question in context that very often I hear utterances in that show that are in stark contradiction to what the police leadership is saying. And it is very surprising to me. So the police leadership says one thing about gangs. The show is saying we're giving the gangs a bly. So I'm confused. Is there a mandate for that show? And does the show take instruction and policy and public dissemination from the police leadership? Because very often I have heard contradictory information from the police leadership and from what I see on that show. And I don't know which one to believe.
The show should be a replica of the thoughts and sentiments of the executive of the organization.
Is that happening?
There may be times when
Good afternoon, Mr.
Present.
Bernard.
is
Well, as I say, we
bit
here to talk about the issue where we
adverse to
unarmed.
the thoughts
With
of
Earla Christopher.
The presenter representing the Trinidad and Tobago Police
Has to
Service
share your
on
thoughts
a
on it.
national broadcast, very popular show, in uniform, and you are telling us he is averse to what the leadership is saying. That is a shocking revelation.
I'm making my comments based on what you would have said.
With regard to
So no one is monitoring the issue from leadership
being,
perspective?
you know, a lot is being said.
The show is
And,
monitored by the
live in a country
corporate communications unit.
where persons
Are you satisfied?
have become, due to social media, armchair politicians. Some of them are very comfortable to just criticize without being part of some positive change. Ms. Christopher, I looked at the interview, and there's so much that is to be said about that, because to begin with, Ms. Christopher is the head of a body that has been in conflict for a long time. The police service within itself, as far as many citizens are concerned, have not been fulfilling their mandate to citizens because of the rise in crime levels, not only murders, but crime levels from white-collar crime at all strata, crime at all strata. And in the midst of all that, Ms. Christopher has come in and made promises, but the only way that these promises can be fulfilled is if those that who we also pay to protect and serve at all levels, you know, Ms. Christopher, because she's at the highest level, and the police service, 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 and the only way that those promises can be fulfilled is if these persons support whatever mandate that we give the service itself, headed by Ms. Christopher. I have seen lately where I have seen in news where Ms. Christopher has been taken to court by many officers who believe that they need a promotion. Now, as far as I'm concerned, while some people should be promoted based on the qualifications, but the police services is an entirely different entity. The criteria cannot be like the public service and the university and the public, and the private sector, because of the nature of the job. Performance is the key. Results are the key, right? And even though I believe, okay, someone says that he or she goes to class or takes time off to better themselves educationally, but when we look at the results, people have been promoted in years gone by, but let's look at the results on the ground. And we continue to see a rise in crime. We continue to see, we as the public continue to become more and more fearful. So what is missing here? We have more and more qualified persons, and I ask myself, if persons are losing the real point,
essence.
Yeah, the real essence of the job, because it is to serve the public. Yes, each person must serve themselves in some way with respect to self-development. But when a man, okay, when the average man cannot, like let's say he wakes up early in the morning, or the average woman wakes up early in the morning, goes to work, and cannot sit down in a park and have an ice cream, or cannot walk the street where they live with their children freely, something is wrong. Right? When we cannot freely walk the road, something is wrong in this little 2x4 country. So, pressing Ms. Christopher about a program, it is a TV program. Mr. Alexander will not always cross his T's and dot his I's. He would try to, relay a message from the police service to ease the minds of the public. But to press Ms. Christopher about a communication apparatus that, about a communication issue as if she's superior, please, that is ludicrous. That is so ludicrous. And yes, I can understand the senators need to represent the public and he's passionate that we want more effort come out of the police service to serve us. But what I saw was a commissioner flanked, because she wasn't there alone. She did not come and sit down on that platform alone. There were persons next to her, and as far as I'm concerned, if we are a team, and I'm not throwing shit on these guys, but what I'm saying is that I did not see 100% support there, and I think someone could have intervened, because the length of time she gave a very educated response, a very intelligent response. She said, it is up for review.
So we're saying then some of the people who was there that could have jumped in and say something that know about the work, they just stay quiet.
They stay quiet. And what I'm saying, alright, we are dealing with an entity that has been male dominated since its inception. Because long ago it was a muscle thing, right? A big body thing, you grab a man, you grab a man and you carry him in the station, you tell her. I have heard reports about policemen telling fellas, watch me, I just caught you. By next half an hour, I'll be back in the station. Make sure you're there. Don't let me have to come and look for you. And the fellas going in the station. So, or fellas who running on men through bush and thing and shooting behind them and grabbing them, like back in Burroughs days and thing. No, what I'm saying is that she's a woman, and it does not mean that because she's a woman she's incompetent or she's soft. She's just a woman. in a man's domain, and within that whole scenario, within that whole environment, do not ever believe for one moment that there are men who think that they should be there in her place. And what I'm saying, she cannot be blamed for everything. She came in and met a crap show, and the level of corruption in this country cannot be thrown. Well, the non-performance of the service cannot be thrown on her shoulder. And then too, what is non-performance when we have a judiciary that somehow does not work hard enough to support the very police service and their efforts? Because a policeman he or she may do some investigation, and when it reaches to the court, it takes months. So we have these lawyers coming to defend this guy. So we talk about legislation here. So you know, the police themselves.
It's not just she alone that if you have to blame or put crime for somebody to blame, it's not just she alone, because again that from what you're saying, and you also would have described a kind of bureaucracy within the police force, like a kind of a party style.
Right. No, you see, she herself as an individual, and this is why it is wrong for us as a country. We need to try to keep focus on the prize. What is the most important thing? People's freedom to express themselves, people's freedom to live a life free of crime. That is the prize. That is the aim. That is the objective. That is the destination. So the police service, yes, is comprised of so many working parts, and the police cannot be at everyone's doorstep every day, because we will call that a police state and militancy, and because of the guns we see it. But yet when a crime is committed, what they're doing, what the police doing? Okay, the police investigates. They take it to the court. What happens with the courts? So then, what are the delays? And I show that there are many pages written with regard to the reasons why many cases are thrown out. You know, why there's so much delay in the system. Some politicians have been calling for night court to just speed up the process. You know, I hear politicians speaking about throwing $100 million. You know, you know, throwing money. You know, but that just throwing money or just coming down with a hammer, it does not solve the issue, because. But let's stay with Ms. Christopher here. She is not to blame for the rise, because there's another thing that we have accepted, Renz. Yeah. Where, okay, the murders were 400 last year at this time, and this year at this time is 399, so we have progress. That is total nonsense. That is total nonsense.
You can't be using the citizens as a kind of statistic.
Yeah, somebody put out that there, somebody who has failed to deliver put out that there, and hopes that it fall on the head of a fool, which is the public, to comfort the fool, for the fool to think that things are getting better. Because in this little 2x4 country, all these murders, and the thing about it, everyone knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody. And you know,
and you know, we would have said that, you know, because it's the same thing that you can say, Trinidad so small, everybody know one another throughout the justice system, the court system, by the whole thing, everybody know one another.
Yes, and that is why, if you realize, the hardest, the most difficult persons to interfere with are the persons at the top. For how long they want to talk, shout at Ms. Christopher. How many persons who are in public life, politicians, on both sides of the political fence, but how many politicians were blamed over the past 10 years, let's say 10, 15 years, about amassing great wealth and stealing money and billions missing. And how many of them have been arrested? How many of them, right? But right?
But Mr. Bernard, you want affiliation ask, how many names didn't call?
Pardon?
I said the better question you should ask is how many names didn't call? Because to me,
Right.
I mean
Right.
that
Now, who keeping secret for who?
who?
Because at the end of the day, I am of the firm belief that people cannot be touched because people keep in secret for somebody else. And this one doesn't want their dirty secrets to be exposed. So there's a whole network, a whole spider web of corruption, and there's a whole network of what you call silence when certain names are called. You know, and that's something tough. When you look at the man, on the street. Let's say a man don't, you know, unless you're born bad, you don't just wake up and feel to just go and commit crime. No, people need to look at the socioeconomic part of it. You know, the cultural dynamic of certain areas, based on politics over a period of time, and political, let's say, influence or neglect over a period of time. Well, the same children you see fighting out there, most of them come from homes where the parents is a big unease because there are no jobs. So there's, you know, this big love thing. But if you notice the homes that certain people ensured when they were in power, that they have job security, those homes you're not seeing their children fighting. And I'm being blunt about this. You're not going to see that because they're living in homes where they have 3 square meters. The parents have job security, and the children could take time. We can talk about parenting from now till whenever, you know. But it's difficult to parent if you have no food. Let us be real about this. One of the serious duties of any government is to create equity.
Yeah.
Economic equity. And if an entire area is neglected, or, you know, you say, well, let us just give them sports. Because everything with certain people in this country, certain people are just good for one thing, entertainment and sports. So you know what? We're gonna promote football. In this area, we're gonna all who can rap. You know, we're gonna have a nice thing like a blocko when the weekend comes. We're gonna invest in that. Not focusing on the fact that there are many persons, because of this blessing that Mr. Manning gave with free tuition education, there are many areas in Trinidad who people see as depressed, that have educated young men and women that just don't, who are just unemployed, who have become depressed, and who have no hope because at the end of the day, you know, it's not like in the States, okay, you could dance your way out of it, and probably you may reach Hollywood and you may make a movie, or you could dribble your way out and dunk some basketball, and that'll be like 1 in 5 million.
Yeah.
When it, you know, compared to the population. But in Trinidad and Tobago here is so small. Unless politicians have vision and the ability to be creative, because when you have vision, you could say the Almighty, the universe, well, I say the Most High God, gives you ideas come to you, you become creative and you find a way to create employment. Most of the politicians in our time they do not look outside of the box. So they continue budget after budget, and they look inside of the box instead of outside of the box. And they do not use the funds adequately. And then when they use the funds, the same persons who have been getting wealthy for the past 3-4 decades, over and over, regardless of who's in power, just continue, and the thing continues over and over. And the young people say, the young qualified persons say, you know what? You know, it's the same thing over and over. I never voted. You know, I don't want to part of it.
So where you alluding to, there's a certain set of people that continually getting rich no matter what side win.
Yes, regardless of who in power.
All right.
Regardless of who's in power. And I want to come back to Ms. Christopher. Let me tell you something, yeah? What I saw on television was really sad because when one has all these cameras on them, so you have like, let's say 8 or 9 cameramen from various stations, popular and not well-known stations, and then you have persons, about 15 of them with notepads in their hand, pens, and they're watching you straight in your face. Then you have a senator coming down on your TV show. Please, of all things. Someone said something on a TV show and Ms. Christopher supposed to automatically respond to it the day after or 2 days after or something. Please, she has right now, as I said, court cases from within the very police service. People taken out of court for promotion.
And you know what I don't understand about that, Bernard? People don't understand that, just the other day that was all over the news, right? Some kind of irrelevancy within the promotion thing with inside the police service. And people are understanding that it's time at stake. Sometimes to go on a court case, I mean, it's days, it's time off, it's lawyers that have to be pushing all these cases and things.
This is not like the first 40 years in this case, and you're seeing the short cases that are being solved. When we look at TV and we look at the American system and we look at it in reality, there are cold cases, millions of cold cases. Sometimes to make a case on some white-collar criminal, you have to spend 15, 20 years, or when they hold them. Right? Sometimes it takes 5 years, 10 years. So sometimes you see these people, sometimes what the public may not understand is that there are members in the police service, they are night working, to get this thing together, because you have to remember, there's a lawyer too who is being paid, let's say 5,000 an hour. When he's in motion for this guy, he has a whole apparatus working for this guy. Let's say pay 1,000 an hour, 5,000 an hour. For this guy, after stealing millions and billions, he has the money. He has the money to get the best legal representation, right? So the police have to even come better than the lawyer, in the sense of come better with bringing the facts. And these people have become so versed in Trinidad and Tobago with stealing and corruption that they have found loopholes in the law. And it's a sad thing because when, when government brings something to Parliament, they want to amend some law, they want to amend some part of the Constitution. And someone else says, no, we're not supporting that because it's bad laws. It's just nonsense on their part, because everything is about power and it's not about the people. So we do not. So who are the true patriots? And it comes back down to the same thing that Ms. Christopher is facing. We need less police and more crime fighters.
All right.
We need crime fighters. That's a different thing you're talking about there. When we get into the realm, and this is what the police supposed to be doing, fighting crime. But a crime fighter is a special person who is not afraid to fight crime. But the system is so corrupt that even the crime fighter might be afraid.
No.
And
no, Bernard, you say something. You see, I don't want you to go too much over the audience head. When we talking about crime fighting, we been talking about this robust thing that you're going outside there, you're grabbing people by the neck, you're throwing them in a van. Crime fighting is what exactly? Because I have my thoughts on it. Let me hear.
Okay. The FBI, when J. Edgar Hoover began to lead the FBI, one of the things that he went through, because he sought to fight crime, he built a crime fighting unit, a special elite crime fighting unit, to use the brain and the muscle to train them to, but to use the sense and to use science. Now, J. Edgar Hoover was called before what you could call a congressional hearing then, scrutiny then, you know, the Congress, part of the Congress, some senators, whoever over there, some congressman, some congressman started to scrutinize him, him as a person who is capable to lead the service. And let us keep Miss Christopher in mind here right now as saying this. Some of the questions that they asked J. Edgar Hoover, have you ever shot a man? He said no. Each of them looked at them, the members of the commission, and shook their head. So, Mr. Hoover, have you ever arrested a man? No. Have you ever run down a man? And he said no. And they thought at that point that he was incompetent. They said, but how could you run a service without doing these things? And it comes back to the same robust crime fighting that people think crime fighting is. But he was able to build the organization, motivate the people, and the persons within the organization believed that the job was a great job, that they're serving the public, and they were dedicated enough to get results. Through science, through the same scientific methods. Yes, there were those that went and shut down Dillinger and shut down Babyface Nelson and all these people, yes. But there were also those that arrested Al Capone and for tax evasion and other mafia heads for tax evasion, and to arrest someone for tax evasion as a law enforcement officer, you have to get the files, you have to do the research, and you have to see where they weren't paying the taxes and all this sort of thing. And that is crime fighting. So crime fighting is not everybody like Batman busts through some big ceiling with glass and he lands back, you know, and he started to spill some cake and coffee. Yes, sometimes you have to do that because that is the nature of the job on that day, and that's the nature of your department within the police service. Yeah, but you need to know that crime fighting is a broad area in the fight against what is wrong, right? And there needs to be now you see, there need to be a standard, and we have lost our way as a country from the top, I find, coming down, because we have some of the worst examples with regard to morality, how we present ourselves as leaders, the things that we see in positions of authority, how we carry about ourselves, you know? Has set a new normal that is way below what 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we would have seen as subpar, below level. Right? So there's a new normal now where persons may join the force and they join to getting money. You know, we have people coming out of university and just saying, pay me because I qualified, because you did some, and then come like the same thing. What did you do as a senior police officer? Where are the results? The criteria for your promotion should be a mixture of results and your qualification, not just you're qualified so you just get promoted. You want results, right? You have been a sergeant for this period of time, or an inspector or something. Okay, you went and you beat your books. But over the last 10 years or 5 years, in what capacity did you serve the people, and what results? What were the challenges internally and externally, societal? You know, what were those challenges that you faced? How did you contribute toward making the place not only safer, but more productive in the sense of what was your input into suggesting probably to your superiors, look, let us speak with government representatives and maybe this will work and maybe that will work. I'm not trying to teach your job, but I just feel this will work because all of us working for the same people, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So the criteria for promotion just can't be you get something, you have a piece of paper and you want to throw Miss Christopher under the bus because you want a job.
And the same thing we're saying about the criteria, you're supposed to have something to back it up. But it have a system in place with the union in Trinidad and Tobago. And there's where the union need to back up and is kind of at fault to a certain degree. Because there are people that is not performing on the job. But because it have a system that, how do us call it, who senior who. So so people are not are failing and going upwards. People are failing up. So all them have to do is just be the senior man on the location or the area. And according to the rules of the trade union movement in Trinidad and Tobago, you have to promote them. And this is a stand. That is a stand that people are supposed to take. I mean, the union.
They have lost their way. Let me tell you how the unions have lost their way. And they lost their way, I think, a couple decades ago, because the trade union have many of them, I can't say all, many of them have seen themselves as a confrontational entity in order to get a pay raise, but not a patriotic entity that whose duty it is to tell the citizen not only the rights but the wrongs. Because the whole job of trade unionism is not just representing when workers are ill-treated. It is about developing workers to serve the country. That, and they do not focus on that aspect enough. So you find some of them that sit down there for years, they get fat, they have these huge salaries, and then they come out of that bullhorn sometime and they, we want more money. But the workers and they, because, as you said, because there is not enough. Because, each of us that work at every structure, not only public service, the police service, the fire service, from the politicians come down, from the man that takes up the garbage, everyone serves everyone else. Mm-hmm. That is the whole, and people are feeling to really teach children this. Everyone serves everyone else in order that the body can work together. Could you remember the joke about the heart and thing? About the heart and the brains and thing?
No,
I don't know, but
I remember.
I'll be very quick, right?
Yeah.
I'll be very subtle. The body there, lineman and thing, and the heart said, I'm the most important, because I pump and without there's no blood going to, any veins and thing, you all will die. Mm-hmm. And the brain said, well, I'm the most important because I think, and I am the one that does this and that. The hand said, well, I am the most important because I did this and that. The feet said, we are important because we work, you can't get anywhere. And the last person that didn't say anything was the bottom. and the bottom said, you know what? If I stop operating, all of you will die. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that we need to realize that the trade union movement, just like the police service, just like all of us need to understand that we cannot survive without each other. We have to respect each other. The man coming to take out the garbage, tell him thank you. Yeah, bread thanks, because this is what I do. Mm-hmm. The person you go to buy some fast food and the person serves you.
Yeah.
Or let's say you get the person telling they are no condiments. You don't curse them. They are not the ones. They're just trying to get by at a minimum wage to go home and take care of their family. So we need to understand a number of things. Earla Christopher is head of a service. Mm-hmm. Earla Christopher cannot serve the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. She is the head of a service that meets with other managers who we choose to call senior superintendents, inspectors, sergeants, so we call them by rank. But Earla Christopher meets with managers. That's the bottom line. And when she meets with these managers report to her. And she can shout, she could bawl, she could cuss behind the closed door, she could threaten a temper tantrum, she could threaten them, she could even pull out a weapon and say, hey, if all you do all your jobs, I will really bust some fire on all you. They have to go out there and do the jobs. And for her, for what I saw, it was a disgrace. I think that Mr. What's his name? The senator, what's his name, of course?
Paul Richards. Paul Richards.
Yeah. Paul has very good intention. He's very passionate about the people of this country and serving the people. So, I have no problem. Well, from my personal aspect with him, I just think that some of the passion of Mr. Christopher with regard to even the question about a TV program and pressing her for that, I think that is coming down with a big hammer to kill a little ant, right? And come down hard on her when she doesn't deserve it. That was a communication issue. That is a communication issue. And as I said, she has so much to deal with. You have to remember the place is so corrupt in this country that I would believe, and it's my opinion.
Yeah.
She has politicians on both sides of the political fence talking at her close enough. That's what I tell you. I want to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When Jesus was healing and thing, I saw plenty of girls used to rush him, yeah, right? You tell me, you turn water into wine. You healing people and walking on water and all kind of things. You feeding 5,000 people with five fish and 5 loaves of bread and 5 fish or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had plenty of people around him on real deals. I sure he had some businessmen tell him, here, what's going on? I'm filling this 2,000 gallon tank of water and I'm buying about 50 of that. Change it into wine for me and I'm buying a Benz sale. Well, a Benz chariot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or a Audi chariot. Right? The baddest chariot. Gold wheel rigged. I'll make you rich. So, when a country is corrupted, law officers usually become, as all started, usually become, not victims, but they are challenged by the criminals. Challenged with the sense of...
with enticement, inducement. Because the first person that was ever caught and that was I think was Patrick Jagasan. After that, we heard rumors judges and magistrates, but no evidence.
Right.
I believe they get more smart. I don't believe the system not corrupted. They get more smart.
They're not going to be caught again. They're not going to be caught again.
Hey, Mr. Bernard, hold on there a second. Let me play a little ad from our sponsor. We had to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Sheldon Khan, and this afternoon I'd like to introduce you all to our Nissan Caravan MV350 2017 model. For finance option, we're offering this vehicle at $16,000 down, $1,900 a month. Yes, folks. If you want to do that grocery work, that kind of thing, or you want to carry the family on a weekend, all that kind of thing is very optional. It's a Nissan vehicle, so you're getting parts readily available. Nissan Trinidad love Nissan, right? As I said again, the finance option on the vehicle is $19,900 down for 6 years. Everybody in Trinidad love this vehicle right now. Everybody in Trinidad like Nissan, but you know that, right? This vehicle is selling really, really fast. And if you want further information as how to get one, the details, please call us at 785-3882 and I will be happy and very willing to assist you. And from me and Canon Nigel Autos, let me wish you all the very best for the new year. Again, my number is 785-3882. That's 785-3882.
Right. So we are back. So we would have just went into some words from our sponsors. Now we are going right back into the program in which we have Mr. Bernard on the line. Yeah, Mr. Bernard.
Yeah, so we were speaking about Jagasa, Mr. Jagasa. Unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. He was the youngest judge appointed to the High Court, I believe, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And all those years of training, went to waste because of the same thing that we spoke of before, where enticements and persons tempted you, and police officers will be tempted. People are human at the end of the day. And whether they succumb to those temptations or not is up to them. But they must be called to account, whoever, not just police, public officers, politicians, everybody should be called to account, because when someone steals or accept an inducement, as we would want to call it, to embellish it, they steal from the least fortunate from all of all of us. So what they steal is a plate of food. What they steal is a tin of condensed milk. What they steal is a slipper to go on a child's foot. Right? They steal a little underwear, male and female. They steal that. They steal a pound of peas, right? Or a pack of curry. That's what they steal. And I think until we really see these monsters for who they are, we will continue to be going in circles, ketchup, mustard, mustard, ketchup, and the conditions will remain the same, because the corruption will continue, where we have persons at the it is alleged at the hospitals who have the private practice and pharmaceuticals missing. We have
I understand you're trying to be very careful with that,
Yeah,
but
because I don't want to get you into any trouble.
Yeah, because it's a known fact, because I personally, when I went to a particular doctor and he would have said, hey, why not go to the hospital, and that person was in charge at that specific department. Yeah, understand what I'm saying? So, come on. Down to the Bible says certain things that with the cow tie, don't muzzle the dogs that are straight the cord. And we human being would have come with some that would say, man, with the cow tie, they wait at the graze and all kind of thing. We dealing with perfect people.
No.
We are not perfect.
No.
We are not perfect.
We are.
So these things bound to happen. Come on, the man who sometimes selling diesel for certain people, you had to watch them too. The man who's selling thing, you had to put camera system to watch them.
Yeah, and this is why I always say, my brother, that you cannot stop crime, but you can manage it. You're supposed to be able to manage it, because you cannot stop it. Crime is an international and a multi-billion-dollar industry. But it is also, apart from being a multi-billion-dollar industry, it's an international abscess virus. And now in the computer age, we're facing a different type of virus that will wipe out bank accounts and shut down entire ministries and all this sort of thing. So, there's a lot of law enforcement officers. Most of the times we tend to, and from what I understand and from what I it's surprising to me that when someone hacked into my account on Facebook, or from a long time has been happening. Since I wrote it with TNT Mirror, I wrote for TNT Mirror newspaper for 5 years after I led 2 protests at the UTT, shut down the 9 campuses, saved hundreds of jobs. Working in the trade union movement, even though they fire me, anyway, it's just the price. But at the end of the day, I was surprised when they hacked my account that when I called Cybercrime, I would never call the person's names, the officers' names, but they are undermanned. They lack certain equipment, critical resources, right, to get certain things done for the normal man, right? And whatever resources they need, somehow with all these big budgets, I can't understand where is all that money going. I just confused about this thing.
But I don't know about that now, man, because we know where the money going. If billions of dollars coming out and it not going where it's supposed to go, it going in somebody's bank account, it going in somebody's pocket, it going in the finances. The overloading certain countries. We know what's going on,
Okay.
You understand, like load shedding.
So, okay, let's say, so Miss Christopher now has found herself
Mm-hmm.
leading an organization. She may be a noble person really. From since she's small, she wants to fight crime. She has a little girl. Probably she had an uncle who was a policeman, or a father, or a grandfather, or there was some figure in her life growing up. Or probably she just like the movies where the police are the good guys and they win in the end. So, but here she is. At whatever age, she has accomplished that. She's there. I think she's the first female police commissioner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the same people who we're speaking of here, she came in and have to deal with all of them. And within her heart, she came in, qualified, and she said, something within 6 months, within 1 year, I think I could accomplish this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a competent cadre of managers. And as we said before, these managers are called superintendents, senior, whatever. But they are managers as far as we are concerned on the ground. When we start to analyze the purpose for being, we call them managers. When they describe their rank, they could call themselves whatever they want. But they must honor their rank by performance. So she has all these managers, and she says, well, look, this is the case. Let us do something about this. If these managers at any level, I'm not saying any specific level, only in a court case, while the murders going up, while the shootings going up, while crime going up, while the same man and woman who working can't buy ice cream and say, I'm going to park with the child, she has to be a very frustrated person. And then now to be grilled for some stupid, sorry, I don't want to say stupid. Now to be grilled because of a TV program. Because some slip of the tongue, someone said something, or someone said something because no one's perfect, as we said, and it's easy for a man to come back and say, hey, last week I made a comment, and I think that man, that's his character to it.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody who will come and say, hey, Marlon, last week I said something, and, think truth and fact, I was not aware this was updated, and I believe I made, and I want to apologize to the public. He will do that. He appears to me to be the type of guy who will do that. So don't come and I don't see that they must make a walk the plank for something like that. But we were speaking about the justice, right?
Yeah, the justice system.
Who made the jail?
Yes, that Patrick Jagasa.
Right, and we said that these guys vowed after that not to make no more jail. So what's going on. Now, in order to, but most of them I feel who were involved in that kind of behavior never stopped. They continued. So what they did, what would they have thought about doing? They would have thought about doing whatever is necessary to cover the tracks. And we looked at, I think you and I were speaking about forum shopping at some time, right?
Yes, forum shopping.
And forum shopping is basically the process. Forum shopping is the process of deliberately manipulating computerized selection system to get one choice of judge. There's a computerized system that is used.
4TT News strongly respects the rule of law and the role that the judicial to
see or deliberate, to sit over some case, right? In my layman too, right?
Yeah.
It has been, persons have been accused, political parties have been accused of forum shopping.
Because right now we playing the tape. I know you probably can't see it right about now, Mr. Bernard, but we playing the tape is where TTT was apparently on the investigation with Frank C. Prasad. You understand? That would have shown something from since 2011 and upwards 2012 2011, 2014 concerning certain cases. And outside, these things are outside there within the public domain. So, I mean, they can't say that we say. You understand? TTT was investigating something what appeared to be what you are speaking about, forum shopping. You understand? In which we could also call it on a lower scale. I mean in the court system, that's called certain things kangaroo court. Before you go in the court, I mean certain things done predetermined.
Yes. Well. There was a 3 months ago article dated January 12, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also reported, but the article dealt with the subject of Supersat being considered a contender for the post of president of the country by the then UNC-led People's Partnership Administration. This was 2013, but this is the same. This is the same individual that was accused, or there were allegations of him being involved in forum shopping with regard to, because a China Guardian newspaper article penned by Darren Baho, B-A-H-A.Baho, and published June 7, 2017, said, and I quote, the dangerous cocktail of politics with the judiciary gathered more steam yesterday after a late Monday night hearing in the High Court temporarily blocked the appointment of 2 new judges yesterday. The appeal court subsequently overturned the injunction later yesterday. I don't know why I use yesterday so many times. But senior members of the legal fraternity and judges of the High Court are now expressing alarm about public comments being made against Justice Frank Supersad after his initial ruling. Supersad is the same judge who recently made decisions effectively stopping the PNM government from implementing the property tax and halting the demolition of illegal squatters in Valencia. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the alarming part about this whole thing is that many of these cases involving him were overturned in the High Court. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, in the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal overturned,
overturn these judgments and them and you know what's funny about it is when a judge make a decision, I mean he's supposed to make it or she, they're supposed to make it from an informed place in which they're following law. And part of the rules of law is that if certain things not is in line with the Constitution, it is invalid. And many of the rules.
That could be right at, now that is right at a certain point. Now let me tell you why. And what you're saying is 100% correct. But tell you what happened. A judge also has within his discretion, depending on the nature of the case, to make a ruling that he believes is just. But it must be, and this is why you have a court of appeal, right, and an appeal court, because his discretion may not always serve what many may see as being just in that case.
So we're saying it may not be wrong then, but it is sometimes a make judgment that is immoral then. It ain't wrong for them to make certain judgment in a certain way. So when they within the appeal, it kinda have this kinda immorality towards it. It's kinda immoral.
No. No, well, let me clear up that part too.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is that depending on the nature of a case. Okay, if somebody attacks somebody, with a weapon or try to kill them, and the person ends up killing the attacker, that's a self-defense. Because the person was in fear for their life, so they had to stab the person, shoot whatever, use whatever weapon, a big stone, iron, whatever, because they fear for their life. Sometimes you see policemen, it happens to police officers where the reporter would say in fear of his life, the officer, in fear of his whole life, the officer drew the firearm and shot the assailant, right? Now, there is a level of discretion that all judges have, depending on the nature of the case. And what I'm saying is, for any court of appeal to overturn a judgment by a high court judge or any judge, it means that there must be enough grounds that would question the judgment.
Okay.
And right, so you must ask, why did they do this, and then what the judges do, and what investigators do, and the police do. They look for patterns. And if they look back and they say, but wait now, this same judge, this same government brought certain cases to, accuse, brought certain, made certain allegations, and these allegations were investigated and reached the court, and this same judge was ruling against the government, but then all the facts says that, please excuse me, I have a flu that trying to destroy me. Yeah. But then it's the same judge, and didn't we overturn our ruling last month or last year? And was it against the same defenders? So yes, sorry. So that is when the Court of Appeal starts to look at a judge with cookie eye. And starts to say, but wait now, I wonder if this is forum shopping. How come this man only getting cases that related to the UNC? And how come with all the cases, the UNC is the one coming out and something wrong with this? And when we look at the facts, it is contrary to, facts beat fiction any day. So, but how come this man selling fiction as fact? Yeah, right? How come this man selling fiction as fact and making a ruling at that level? Now, that is a dangerous thing. Because when you could have someone like that doing that for you, and then you could, within your discretion as a politician, if you're in power, suggest that he become a president of the republic, it means that you give yourself as a politician, you have bought power. You have bought access and influence. You have somebody in your pocket.
Yeah.
And that is not only immoral, that is criminal in nature for any political party to do. And they're not doing it to the PNM, They're doing it to the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. As I said before, when someone steals, they steal a diaper.
Yeah.
They steal a slipper from a little child that used to run around the yard. They steal a pound of peas. They steal a small bottle of oil, not the big bottle, They steal the little bottle that people could afford. You understand?
Yeah.
I think I condensed milk, not even full cream milk, Excuse me, because the people cannot afford full cream milk. So that little, do you remember when Shadows sang Poverty, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
That is who these people are stealing from. And those are the most... When you feel a man pull a machine gun and he shoot up a next man and he's a monster, he's a joke monster. The real monsters are these people, brothers, who steal.
And we are talking about the politicians and them. People that in the justice system as well. That we are outlining, because I mean the average man on the street was something to connect with. We don't just want to say it like a pie in the sky. Hey, is that what we are talking about? Is the politics that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago, where they create this kind of cartel. There are family cartels within the politics. And it stems not from one party alone, it stems across both parties. So no matter who party in power, these families and them succeed nonetheless. They eat nonetheless. They drink nonetheless. And you, the average man who paying, who building this economy, that bringing it up to a particular standard, are the ones who are suffering. You understand?
The thing about it is that I charge everything to greed because there's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
There is enough for everybody. And because of the greed and that need, because greed is a thing that can never be could never be satisfied. You know?
Greed.
It's like greed. Greed is something that can't be satisfied. It's like you have people who, no matter how much food they eat, they're still hungry.
Yeah.
And they end up being 600 pounds and have to break down a door to pull them out to save their life.
Yeah.
Greed is that. Greed is something, no matter how much money a man has or a woman has, that person, they just want more and more and more. Some people will call it a evil spirit, a spirit of greed, but it's a mental issue. And it's a mental issue. It is a crime of opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the opportunity is there, and the only people, if the politicians are bent and the police are bent, it means that there is an opportunity. And if the people are stupid enough to look at each other and call each other N and C, and to watch each other as enemies, and this one inferior and this one superior, if we are stupid enough to continue with that behavior while all of us claiming to serve a God, and in all the religions, in Trinidad and Tobago, good is good and evil is evil.
Mm-hmm.
But if we are willing, because we are someone looking like us, do the wrong thing, and we supporting it because they look like us, it means that we deserve exactly how the place is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those of us who do not subscribe to that will be angry. And this is that creates another issue. I wouldn't get into that right now. But at the end of the day, the majority of us, of citizens, allow these kinds of opportunities by politicians. We allow these things to happen, and we also sit back and pull out our phones and create stupid memes against the commissioner of police for some simple thing like a TV program, or for some things that, and she would be there and question after question, and with all the support that she should really have. Because you and I working, and yeah, you know me. I cannot be working with you unless I know you. So I will probably over lunch sometime or dinner, depending if there's a function, and then I'll look at your whole resume, your CV, and then I'll look at your record, your crime fighting record, and this kind of thing. I say, you see this fella here, this fella, this lady here, she's a good person to work with me because I believe I'll get some results.
Mm-hmm.
And if we working together, and if I am a little, if I under some pressure, you don't take some of that pressure for me to help me. It means that you and I are not working together.
So it appears to be it appears to be a little setup thing that take place there.
No, it appears to be a crime of opportunity. Right?
A crime of opportunity. They see something take place and they decide to just sit down and all the chip flies. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave her there because you know what, boy, I could really do that job. And
yeah.
So who is serving? And don't want to point fingers to the men who were there. Because this thing happened what day it was, and there was enough time for people to respond.
Mm-hmm.
There was enough time for other police officers at high levels to come out to the public, to even write on their Facebook, to even write on WhatsApp, to even make a statement that, look, this is what is taking place. Or the communications department at the police service to say, look, this is what's taking place. We support our commissioner, and because this is what it is she is faced with, no one says anything. I don't know if Mr. Alexander and they made any response. Sorry. I don't know, but I don't want to blame the two guys or the three guys who were there supporting her. What I'm saying is that I am not hearing enough. I'm not seeing anything in the media with senior officers saying, you know something, this job is not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we do not support our commissioner being bullied. Because that was a piece of bullying I saw there, you know.
the Oris man I say.
She could even come out to answer our next question, you know.
What the Oris man I hear say, yeah, because that one went on there is like if you're straw man the woman's statement, not if, but it was a straw man that Paul Richard would have used on the commissioner and he would have executed with precision. It was like if a lion at the top of a gazelle and tearing it to pieces. That is what it was, and the rest of people there who was saying down there, I mean, they was like watching the commissioner and ain't saying nothing. Part of their function is to also aid the commissioner in providing the correct answer. Hey, here what's going on? There may be a little communication issue here. We had to look into it. Come on.
No, what you said there, it you know, is almost perfect because at the end of the day, yes, you need that support on the spot.
Yeah.
On the spot, then yes. No, some of these fellas may not even have been prepared to. Just like how she get, as far as I'm concerned, I find the questions will come in fast and furious before she could even think she got an next question or she was badgered.
It was because when he would have said something, he would have said, well, it was being reviewed, and then he jump up and say, well, all right, so you are in thing. She said at times there are certain things, and he would have used that statement and say, well, all right, so and that program is still being aired, so he would have used the presupposition as to disqualify the whole argument.
But the thing about it too, the thing with Paul also, there's another, I'm going to look at it with Paul too, because sometimes it happens to all of us at the time, simply as how we have in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We may be passionate about something, and he now, representing the public, he now fed up just like the public, because he's part of the public, he just, getting some more cash and he's doing another job,
Yeah.
He has some other responsibilities. And he has some influence. But what I'm saying is that he may not have been doing it maliciously. That may not have been his intention, but he being there, asking certain questions, vexed. Just like members of the public that was shocked, what the hell going on,
Yeah.
Crime is at a high and we're not getting results and we're paying for this, because you have to remember, it's a service we're paying for, It's a service. So, okay, you and I walk in, we'll be walking a fast food place. You're getting 2 pieces of, the sign mark 2 pieces of chicken, 2 side orders, and a drink for $40, $45. But when they bring the box and we open it, see 1 piece of chicken with some teeth mark in it. Half portion of fries, half of the portion of 1 portion of fries, with some more teeth marks in it, and we see some lipstick on the straw, and half of the juice gone. Now, we are paying, and comes back to the same thing we were talking about, and that's why Paul probably really was passionate too. He may not have meant to be, to come over how he came over, but he meant to be forceful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate on both sides. But what I'm saying is that it comes back to the same thing we were talking about. The woman is the head of the police service. Some fellas and some women went and take the exam, they beat some book and they come up. And they said, we deserve a promotion. So, okay then, what they're telling the public, what the public is seeing, is they're asking for a promotion within an entity that's not performing to suit us. That's not up to standard.
Mm-hmm.
The average detection rate for murders in the United States, I think, is either 45 or 51%, something like that. And in some states it's lower, some states higher. I think the state of Oklahoma is 89%.
Mm-hmm. Right?
If I'm not mistaken. I'm not an economist, I'm not a politician, but I read a lot. Right? But the thing about it is this. And this is what I was talking about earlier. The criteria for promotion must be a combination of performance and work and qualification. It can't just be qualification. over the past 5-10 years, what did I do? If you to develop my area that I was working in, right? And I ain't talking about. Sorry about that. Sorry, please excuse me. But and I'm not speaking about. I was part of the Christmas. Or the carnival committee. I ain't talking about that nonsense. Right? Little children could do that.
Yeah.
What did I do? What did I contribute towards developing the unit that is being paid to tackle white collar crime? What did I do to develop the unit that is being paid to tackle gang warfare, to tackle illegal drugs, to tackle
illegal firearms, all these things?
Right. What did I do? And when I approach certain things, were my reports clear enough and concise enough and precise enough to say, look, a court of law could pursue a case against the offender? What did I do? How many cases? What have I done? But then, so there must be a measure of performance. It is that job is a job like no other, but it is a service that we are paying for, where we get in a little piece of chicken with teeth mark on it. We get in half the amount of juice with lipstick on the straw, and we get in half of a portion of rice. And we are supposed to take that, drink from that same straw, bite from that same chicken, and shut up because, you know what? The job so hard. If you can't do the job, do not apply for it. If I hire you to take care of me, I don't want a coward to come and take care of my family. I hire security.
So we're saying then it should be more performance driven. The police services, the officers there should be seeking a let me say promotion based on performance driven.
Right. And also intelligence, because the person would want to upgrade the knowledge about crime, the knowledge about crime fighting, best practices, international best practices, like, from Britain, the United States, and wherever, Australia, wherever, and the methods of fighting crime. So that is a plus. But it makes no sense if someone has all that information and cannot apply it and cannot apply it and execute it on the ground level, right? To earn what they are being paid for. You remember they are being paid for something.
They are being paid.
Yes, paid for something. I want us to remember this, Teachers, doctors. If we go by a quack doctor and we end up dead, we could sue them. And we cannot. It's difficult for us to have any recourse for underachievement or underperformance in the police service. What is the recourse? We can have recourse. For, like, if we go to the public service and we do not get the right service, we can have recourse. We can have recourse for that. But how the nature of the job of the police service, unless there's some crime committed against a citizen, something of that nature, or some mismanagement in some way of a scene or something, and we sue an individual, which ends up to be the police service getting sued.
Yeah.
But in that case, somebody wrongfully murdered somebody, and and the court dealt with them. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a general service. A general service. It's not like we could just a contractor who we could just fire and hire our next contractor tomorrow. We're talking about something that is so huge and it's something so embedded within the system. So we trust in these people, we pay in them, but we trust in them because they have roots all over the place. Right? So the nature of that job is unlike any other job. And it needs noble people in the job.
So true.
And in this little 2x4 country, it is alarming to know that we are not getting value for money, and the person now who trying to bring some value for money appears that to be a boboli, a Good Friday boboli, to citizens where they're making memes, and you know what I mean? Give me a break. They're very insensitive, and she just needs to have proper managers around. That is all she needs. And the job will, you know, as I said, you can't stop crime, but you can manage it. And greed is the great issue here, because enticements, the police officers, you know, and then we can be paying more and more for our service. And the service demanding more and more, we getting less results. You know, I just being frank, that's just my opinion, you know.
Well, Mr. Bernard, I mean, because we done go way past the time already, but you know, time is everything. We have to say in a nutshell so we could wrap up this program concerning this whole saga between the police commissioner and how Paul Richard would have responded. And how he would have used that now to implicate the show, the Beyond the Tape show within the evening. And I have a trick question for you after that. You know? Now,
okay.
The trick question, let me hit you because I want to hit you like how Paul do it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Karen Tisha, Karen Tisha Nunes would have talked about Mr. Big. And with that talk about the system, do you think that she would have a hands-on knowledge as to what could be taking place behind the scene? So tell me what you think about Earla Christopher first, summon it up, and then you can move on to the next one.
Well, Ms. Christopher needs support from the rest of our service. The service needs to always be reminded by themselves, by persons within the ranks. The purpose here is to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And Mr. Richard may have come across rough and crude, but I think his intentions were pure, and his motives and his concerns were, even though he was passionate, reflected the concerns of Trinidad and Tobago. But how it was delivered came over to me as bullying, and she wasn't given time and within the questioning to respond to certain questions at the time, and then she was, you know, it appeared so to me, right? You know, and we spoke a lot about many things. We spoke about the trade union whose job it is to also tell people their wrongs, because they are not just to march for rights and to march for more money. They are about building Trinidad and Tobago, and they have lost that. Somewhere along the line since Butler, they have lost that, and they encourage bad behavior within the working place, because some workers, delinquent workers, believe they have somebody to defend bad behavior and not promote nation building. Ms. Nunes Teixeira, she, from what her statement said, and I continue to look at that video, and she seems to be a very knowledgeable person of what is taking place in the underworld and with regard to the drugs and the guns and all these things. And I think she's not the only person. I believe that every person at a certain strata, including the opposition and the government, every person at a certain strata knows what the hell going on in this country. And I don't think, and I think many of them realize that the place is so corrupted that they can't do it alone, and many of them may be very, I don't want to use the word scared, but cautious to approach it, because if Ms. Dina Sitahal could be shot, and to this day, you know, if Ms. Dina Sitahal can be cornered and shot, I think, and certain other people can just go missing to this country. I believe that politicians, we have some politicians who are actually, they don't have, some don't have the testicular fortitude, some don't have the belly to do it, but people, they don't have the belly to stand and do what is right, because the Mr. Bigs of this country are bigger than the persons that we vote for. Yep.
Well, Mr. Bernard, well, thanks again, and I'm hoping to see you more in the program that we could discuss relevant issues like this within the future.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right then, Mr. Bernard.
Okay, brother. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is Sheldon Khan, and this afternoon I'd like to introduce you all to our Nissan Caravan MV350 2017 model. For finance option, we're offering this vehicle at $16,000 down, $1,900 a month. Yes, folks. If you want to do that grocery work, you know, that kind of thing, or you want to carry the family on a weekend, all that kind of thing is very optional. It's a Nissan vehicle, so you're getting parts readily available. You know Nissan, I love Nissan, right? As I said again, the finance option on the vehicle is $19,900 down for 6 years. Everybody in Trinidad love this vehicle right now. Everybody in Trinidad like Nissan, but you know that, right? This vehicle is selling really, really fast. And if you want further information as to how to get one, the details, please call us at 785-3882, and I will be happy and very willing to assist you. And from me and Canon Nigel Autos, let me wish you all the very best for the new year. Again, my number is 785-3882. That's 785-3882.
Now, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, let us be truthful to ourselves. Let us be fair within our statement. What was done to the police commissioner, with all truthfulness and rightfulness of the word, without fear or favor, I care who like me, but statement remain minds and minds alone. What was done to the police commissioner? Baby, by Paul Richard, it was done out of zealousness. It was done out of earnestness. But it wasn't right. It wasn't fair. Now, we go deviate a little bit because I want to go back into this thing here concerning the crime talks in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, we here does be watching these things all over. Don't get tired. I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. But there are people that is outside there that is mirroring what we are saying the same way. We ain't saying we invented it. We are feeling the brunt of this whole thing. And it's about time that we put aside race and party and stand up together for what is right. The hell with certain person in the police force. If that is what it takes. Put aside your ego, your bravado, and come to the forefront and support this thing, this crime initiative in Trinidad and Tobago, that we could feel safe. I know when I go in somewhere, I watching over my back, my shoulder, my side and all. It's about damn time the government, the opposition and the sitting government come together, because we are all feeling this in Trinidad and Tobago, and now you can't tell me that is not the case. Or you can't tell me that. Now we are going straight into a piece of crime talk here. Where somebody else, as I saying, we had no vacuum here either. We know it affecting people, and we know that there are intelligent people outside there that could understand what is taking place and making statements that is inclusive of not themselves, of not their race, but the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is what we're talking about. So let me go straight into this piece of crime talk here.
We cannot have a discussion on crime and its impact without talking about drugs. There is a direct relationship between the drug industry, legal and illegal, and crime in the country. Of recent, the government has tried to address this in one way by legalizing marijuana. Without the proper framework to support a move like this, what we have, and I see it in my practice all the time, is an increase in psychosis, in addiction, in abuse, an increase in cannabis use disorder, an increase in school dropouts, and this is all impacting not just crime, but society as a whole. We need more than this. What it has done, yes, I admit, we now have a reduced amount of the petty crimes for possession of small amounts of marijuana going to the courts, but has it had any impact on the number one problem facing Trinidad and Tobago, which is crime? No, it has not. And the opposition leader made very pertinent statements recently on this topic, which I fully support. Other than illegal drugs, there's one thing that I want to mention tonight. We also have a breeding, silent opiate crisis in this country. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Dangerous Drugs Act, number 24 of 2019, has certain drugs listed as a Class 2 dangerous drug. And this means it could be recognized for having medical uses, but only under strict supervision, because there's a high potential for abuse and dependency. This includes opiate drugs like codeine, for example, Tramadol, so many and these should be highly regulated. But in this country, countries across the world, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Canada, it is not even allowed in the country and highly, highly regulated, if so. But in Trinidad and Tobago, why can a young person go into a pharmacy and pick up as many bottles of codeine that they want or any other drugs without a prescription, fueling an addiction crisis? And again, there is no auditing. The government in their last report has said that they don't have enough pharmacists to make up the audit personnel to audit the pharmacies to ensure that everything is going to, everybody is doing what they want. It's our children, it's our brothers and sisters that are suffering.
And as I say, people of Trinidad and Tobago, there are many of you that are feeling this thing. And as I promised you before, because we're looking to end the show here. But before we go into that, we're going into this video here from David Naked. You see when your tongue slip in the public domain, and now I mean, some of the times you go ask certain people concerning certain things, and they go just, they go just run from the truth. Let me go into this video because I believe that this is something that you need to hear. And some of you may have missed it, but we are going into this video.
Trinidad and Tobago, I decided to come to a school that I grew up close to during my formative years. As a matter of fact, my mother, may God rest her soul, taught at the school religious instruction for a few years after she retired from nursing. This is the Montauk Secondary School. And this secondary school not only looks, it is exactly the same infrastructure. Nothing has been done, nothing has been renovated, rehabilitated, nothing has been done since I left Trinidad at the age of 17. In other words, 40-something odd years ago.
Now, you hear what David Naked say. Nothing have been done about since he left Trinidad and Tobago 14 years ago. Right? Let me go on to this part here.
In the back of me here, if you look over there, where used to be the football field, cricket field, between 2010 and 2015, sometime UNC built up those facilities to expand the school. And possibly a newer infrastructure break down this old school. Because if you look at it, the infrastructure is piss poor. If you look at the infrastructure. As a matter of fact, information I have received, for 27 years, nothing has been done to this school to make it better.
Right. For 27 years, nothing has been done to this school to make it better. And you see, for 20-something years, nothing has been done in this school to make it better. And now we have to ask the question here now. Within that 20-year span, label the parties that was in power. And now we have to ask ourselves the question, was these parties and them the fault or the citizen is the fault? And why I am saying that is this, we are the ones supposed to hold these party officials, these parties and them to account for what is taking place within our country, and we have failed as citizens to do such. Now, David Naked would have been explaining a particular situation, and he is forced now to come out with the truth. For 20-something years, and this thing here is evident. Now, anybody now who is purporting to go into power is from these two parties are saying that they could do it better, and waiting the next 27 years might pass and it's the same thing. At the end of the day, we must stop playing smart with foolishness. And what we are doing here on this workers' rights platform is talk the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And what we are doing here is in the name of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, the time is 4:57, and we are going to call this program here to a close. So any comment, any views that you may have concerning it, you could call the number on the screen, 333-2176, WhatsApp it, and get in contact with me and with the team so we could get to the bottom of all these problems and them. All. Because we know that there are people that is not taking your best interests at heart. My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform.